Really excited for my next guest to finally return to action. He's going to be taking on Evan Elder, UFC Fight Night, February 18th. It's Nazim Sadykhov joining me here on the program. Nazim, how are you, man?
Good, man. Good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Hey, pleasure's all mine, man. Really excited for this big debut. When did you find out about the fight?
Actually, we had some. We had a. It's been a lengthy camp. I found out about this fight probably 15 weeks out. So we're about 3.5 weeks away. So probably a good 3 months ago, we've been preparing for this fight.
I imagine you wanted to fight sooner, or it was just one of those things you had to wait for the UFC to find the right card and opponent?
I did, but I actually in my last fight I had a injury that I had to take care of, give it some time. So as soon as I was cleared to go, I asked for a matchup, and that was pretty much the soonest they could find, or the soonest I was given. But I'm okay with that because everything worked out perfectly. Camp has progressed perfectly.
And you're fighting Evan Elder, I should mention there. He's got a 7-1 record. Did you know much about him before taking this fight, or was it one of those things you had to go look him up after?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, his name was put out there in the past, maybe like a couple of years ago for LFA. We were looking at different organizations. We were trying to get me a fight, and I forgot how the sequence was, the sequence of events, but maybe there was a injury or something, and I was trying to come back after the injury, trying to book a fight, and we were looking at different organizations, and I've heard that name before, so I knew about him for maybe a good year and a half, 2 years. But this is the first time we actually get matched up, and we both accepted the fight.
Yeah, and it came together, which is awesome. Now that
Yeah,
you've had a chance to kind of assess him, how are you looking at this fight from a style perspective?
this is going to be a very fun fight. I think the fans are in for a treat with this one because in the stand up, he's explosive. He has certain things that he where he's dangerous, and the wrestling department, I don't from from my what I'm expecting from this fight is all me. It's gonna be he's gonna give it a push, but it's gonna be all me. I think I'm better everywhere. However, I think he's a great fighter, and I think his first fight, I think it was not a display of who he is. And I think in the last year, what was it, 9, 10 months since his last fight, I know he's been working. He's been working with a great team, so I know he's gonna come ready. He's gonna be sharper. I just think at the end of the day, I'm gonna be better than him everywhere.
And speaking of coming from a good camp, you're at one of the best in the world. Who's been helping you get ready for this fight as far as training partners?
Well, Aljo's been around. He's in and out of Vegas. He's been around, but Matt Favola is that's my homie. That's my go-to guy. That's the guy that I'm always training with a lot. We've been getting a lot of sparring. I think stylistically, Favola fits this very well. We have a bunch of other guys that I work with on a daily basis, the likes of Dennis Bazookia, Charlie Campbell, Dylan Mantello, just to name a few. We have a wide roster, and I'm working with these guys on a daily basis. So day in and day out, we grind. We always get world class work, and I always feel prepared with this team.
What's it like having Matt in the room? I've known Matt for a while. He's a character. Like, how crucial is it to have a guy like that in the room? Maybe when you're having those tough days to kind of lighten things up a bit.
Yeah, he's very welcoming. From the first days that I stepped foot in the gym, he was right. He got right to giving good, positive advice, and he does that to this day. We even made a joke the other day. Ray Longo and myself, we made a joke that Matt Favola has like a soundboard, and he just presses like what to say at the right time. Something like trust the process, baby, trust the process, or like it's almost go time. Let's go, man. Let's do this. You're a beast. Like just just like a soundboard of positivity he is.
Yeah.
And he's always great work as well. He's always world class work. He's great in every department. He has great grappling, great wrestling, and great stand up. So per, training with him, it's like you're training to become as well rounded as he is. So you're pretty much ready for any matchup training with somebody like Favola.
We got less than a month before this fight. How's the weight cut going?
It's very smooth. Everything is on point, and UFC sponsored us. Which is another you're able to tell the difference fast when you get into the UFC. They take care of your weight cuts. They take care of your all your supplements. Something I've never really taken part in. I'm not really a big supplement guy. And the meals, the meal prep, Icon meals, they send every other week. They send a box of meals, so that makes the weight cut super easy, and my weight's on track right where it's supposed to be.
And it's just one less thing to worry about, right? You don't have to prep meals. Like even like I don't fight, but I have to prep my meals every week just because I don't want to eat like crap, right? So I know how annoying it is to cook. It must just be nice to go and heat that up, and it's not even something you have to worry about, right?
Yeah, you just
You're on like
heat it up.
autopilot,
Yeah, just it's ready for you. You really have nothing to worry about, and you realize how much easier your life is when you actually have access to this kind of stuff. So you just get your box, take out a meal that you like, throw it in the microwave, 2.5 minutes, it's ready. You could even take it with you to the gym. It's just life made easy.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I'm sure Ray Longo will be in your corner. Who else is going to be in the cage with you that night?
It's gonna be Matt Favola. It's gonna be who it was on Contender Series,
Right.
and probably gonna. I'm allowed a third cornerman, so I'm probably gonna take my pop with me.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. Has he cornered you before?
No, he's not. He's not. Uh, he never cornered me. I probably would say when I was younger for amateur competitions, for like judo and stuff like that. Maybe he cornered me for that, but he hasn't cornered me in a professional bout. But he doesn't. His goal is not really to. It's the
It's
front.
like I know exactly what you're saying here. I'm kind of reading your mind for a second. It's not necessarily to give like fight advice. It's just maybe to have like a familiar face or somewhere like someone to kind of maybe be around during the walk and everything, right?
Yeah. My dad's somebody that I would take to war with me, hypothetically speaking. He's
Yeah.
somebody that would always have my back. He would always be by my side. Ray Longo's obviously doing the professional corner work, and so is Matt Favola. And my father's pretty much going to be there for support.
It's awesome, man. I know you feel like you're going to get your hand raised. Otherwise, why sign the contract? But how's this fight playing out on February 18th?
Uh, it just depends on how much Evan Elder can take. I plan to do with him what I do with everybody else: take him into deep water and see who wants him more when we get there.
Love it. Love it. It's good, man. Still in January, so I think this question still applies. What are your goals this year? Everyone sort of makes goals and, resolutions and things like that. I'm sure keeping active is one of them, but what are some other goals you might have, whether it's fighting or personally?
Well, regarding the fight game, I want 4 fights. God willing, as long as my health permits, that's the only ever reason I'm not active in fighting every few months. It would be, God forbid, any injuries or any kind of health issues. So, God willing, I'm healthy. Uh, February, I would like to be back before summer. I would like to be back at the end of summer or early fall or something like that, and in the winter. So that would be like my layout for a 4 fight plan. I would love to have 4 fights this year in the UFC.
And they're supposedly going to Brooklyn in April. That's the rumor. So that would be good for you. Nice, quick trip there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if I step out of this without injuries, and that would be cutting it close, that would be 6 weeks away. But I've done those kind of camps before. I've done those kind of fights before. I've done those kind of quick finish, quick turnaround, fight again, or not even a quick finish. I don't want to. I'm not saying I look past Elder or anything. I'm just saying if the stars align, I'll definitely be back as soon as I possibly can.
Tell me how you linked up with Ruby Sports for representation and one of the best in the game.
I had a friend that suggested me him. I've heard his name. I've
Yeah.
heard his name several times. It was thrown around just in conversation, and I've heard of his name. I know that Fiziev actually was signed to his partner Sayat,
Mhm.
and I knew about Ruby. I decided to reach out to a friend who communicates with him, set up a meeting with him in Vegas, met with him and signed. It was pretty straightforward, and he's been straightforward with me since, which is what I appreciate because in this game, there's a lot of like empty promises and a lot
Oh
of this.
yeah, and especially with other management groups too, right? So I hear all
Yeah,
these stories, So
it, like if you're able to do if you're able to put what you say into action, then there's no even need for promises. So as soon as I start hearing all these promises, like never heard that once from Ruby. I've just gotten contracts and I've just gotten straightforward action. So I can't be more grateful to a manager than that. Let alone the fact that he's a great guy. So we have a friendship as well. So I'm happy with where I am with him.
Now, at the top of this interview, I was asking you how to pronounce your first name, and you pronounce it Nazim. But did you know there's a famous hockey player who also shares the same name as you? He plays for the Calgary Flames. His name's Nazim Kadri. That's how he pronounces it.
Nazim Sadykhov. What's his background? Do you know?
So he is, so he's Canadian, but I want to say his parents, it's either Iran, I'm not sure, but I know he's Muslim. I don't know exactly where his family's from, but he won a Stanley Cup last year. So that's like the equivalent of winning a Super Bowl in hockey last year. And he was the first Muslim player to actually win the Stanley Cup, which is kind of cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So you didn't know who he was. Google him after. I'll send you a link after or something. Just because I think that's cool. It's a pretty unique name, and to see someone who's achieved a lot of success, like I'm sure you're going to be having going forward, it's probably kind of neat, right? So.
Also, Prince Nazim. That's
of course, yeah, him as well. Yeah.
Prince Nazim. Nazim. He's with an S, but still, it's the same name. It's the same origin. Nazim.
Yeah. So Nazim spells it exactly like yours. Nazim. That's how they spell it. So.
Yeah, messenger of God. That means Nazim is messenger of God, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, cool. What just asking you as well. I believe you're born in the U.S., right? What is your background?
No. So I was born in Russia.
Oh, okay.
I am of Azerbaijani descent.
Okay.
My entire bloodline is from Baku, Azerbaijan, the capital of Azerbaijan. And I'm the first generation born outside the border, and I wasn't born in the U.S., but I did grow up in Brooklyn.
Okay, gotcha.
The age of 7. But given that I'm the first generation born outside of Azerbaijan, I'm still very in touch with my roots. We grew up in an Azerbaijani household. Both my parents are from Azerbaijan, my grandparents. So like I'm not far away from my culture and from my homeland. I'm the first generation born outside of the border.
That's awesome. I know they play a lot of hockey in Russia. Again, I'm Canadian. I got to ask these things. Did you ever play hockey growing up or watch it at all?
Well, so Russia was like short-lived for me. That was like maybe 7 years of my life, and then it was the States. And Azerbaijan was just somewhere I visit. So
okay.
In Azerbaijan, they don't play hockey.
No, I was just curious. It's more like a curiosity question because again, in Canada, like everyone plays hockey, everyone loves hockey. Like hockey's the biggest thing here, so that's why I ask. So
hockey is awesome. I've been to an Islanders game, and actually, hockey is one of the sickest sports to watch live.
I know, right? I'm trying to get people on board because I think it's one of the best. Yeah, like you just said, one of the best sports to watch live. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, I watched basketball. I watched football. Watched the Giants once. I watched a lot of different sports live, but I think hockey, I would put it up there right after combat sports. I would put it up there as a close second. I don't know, for whatever reason, the experience was just amazing. We also sat ringside right behind the glass, and then the puck and the players go crashing right into like inches away from you, or like a few feet away from your face. It was awesome.
And they allow fighting in hockey. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah. They grab they have
they'll drop the gloves, like they'll kind of do the eye to eye thing, and then they'll actually fight on the ice, which you don't ever see in any other sports. Usually the referee's coming in, right? So
yeah, and what is it, like a 30-second thing? They let them duke it out for 30 seconds. What's the rule for that? Do they? Both
I think they just no. There's I don't think there's like a set time limit, but it's like basically like they sort of see like, are they going to scrap? Are they not? And then if they're like tied up and not doing anything, they'll break it up. But if they're throwing punches, usually whoever falls to the ground first, then they'll stop. They'll step in and stop it, and then they go to the penalty box.
But how did they let that go about? Like, do the players both say, "Okay, I'm gonna"?
They drop the gloves. That's how they do it. So they wear gloves. They'll put their stick down and they'll drop the gloves, and they both go toe to toe. That's how it works.
Wow, that's sick.
It is. It's awesome. And actually, you mentioned Aljamain Sterling. I know he recently went to his first game in Vegas a little while ago, and I think he's becoming a fan too. So that's great as well, right?
Yeah, you want to get us on board for hockey, huh?
Yeah, hey, listen, I think there's a lot of similarities between the two sports. So,
it wouldn't take much convincing me. I've like in junior high school, I liked Islanders, Rangers, Devils, and if I'm not mistaken, Brodeur. That was
Brodeur, Martin Brodeur. Yeah, exactly. The goaltender.
Favorite goalie at the time. Yeah.
There you go. Speaking my language. Hey, Nazim, thanks so much for doing this, man. We're looking forward to it. UFC Fight Night, February 18th. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media, I'll give you the last word.
Actually, I just got my custom mouthpiece from Dr. Andrew Sarowitz. So I want to thank him for that. He's great at what he does, custom mouth guards. He's the best. He's also as a dentist office. Just got to clean up all my teeth. Great guy. And I just want to thank my entire team. Sarah BJJ, Law MMA, Ray Longo, Matt Serra. Just thank all my coaches, Eric Heyer, Brendan BMO. We've had a great camp, and it's going to be on display February 18th.